Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. It's Chuck here. This is the second time I did today's episode because the first one I had the wrong mic input, and it looked like a spaghetti western. There was just no sound coming out of my mouth. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and it's always an amazing thing to bring these videos to you. The real thing that we add, if you've just joined us in the last couple days, is really we add interpretation to the information, and really try and have a place here where you can go. The same as if you were sitting beside me. What would I do? This is how I would explain things to you, being right beside me there. So the list today is 16 properties, and so the first one up is 275 Woodley Crescent. It's at 324.9. It's a moonseed end, so it's like just under 1,300 square feet. 3-story townhouse, so there's no backyard. You do have a little side yard. It's really not very much. And so the setup is you've got an eat-in kitchen, which is pretty rare for these townhomes, and then it also opens up. You can see the breakfast bar just to the left. That opens up to this area, and then you also have a big family room. And there's no shots of the upstairs. Really, the 3-bedroom version of this home is the bedrooms are not exactly conducive to pictures because they're kind of small, and the bedroom's okay, but I mean, really, 1,300 square feet on 3 stories to put 3 bedrooms in. They're not going to be huge rooms, but 324, that being said, I think is kind of the place where these normally sell for, so they're going to do pretty well. Sire Drive is at 339.9, and so it's a 3-bedroom. It's got 1 full bathroom on the 2nd floor. Looks like the garage is a bit wider, and you've got 2-car parking in the driveway. It does back onto dairy, but it's 174 feet. That's like a double deep lot. It's huge. So even though the road is right behind that 174 feet, you're really far from it for the house, and you get all that extra space. And to be honest, kids don't care if it's 174. Like if there's a road right behind that 174, they just like having 174 to goof around. And so inside looks good, very clean, very decluttered, finished basement here, looks very well done. And there's a shot there, not the most private with the chain link. And so if you're more of a social animal, it's probably not a big deal. Covered porch in the back there, and then you've got some fun stuff happening right at the end. So good, really good price. I have no doubt this one's going to sell nice and quick, and I think it's really good. Furnace has been done, air conditioning has been done the last couple of years, and we always like to see that with the older homes. Usually 15 to 20 years is when you got to do that stuff, the roof, the furnace. So having it done saves you money, because it's a lot easier to say, okay, I have to do a kitchen or I've got to do some cosmetic reno compared to actual stuff in the home that doesn't pay back, like the furnace and air conditioning. Thompson's at 379. It's a 1,500 square foot Brent Grove model. It's built by Mattamy, and so there's these little loopy loops that come off of Thompson, so the kids can play on that loop generally very safely. Not a lot of cars go on. But you do hear the busy road. You'll hear it in the bedrooms. And the other thing that I always tell people is that you can't park on those loopy loops, okay? And you can't park on Thompson. So your guests oftentimes have to go on a side street around the corner. So that can be a bit of a pain in the butt. And it looks like there's 1 car parking in the driveway on this one. Hardwood floors here, about 1,500 square feet. Like I said, very open concept between the kitchen and family. And the kitchen actually is a little bit bigger, at least to me, than how it appears in the photos. And overall, the bedrooms are big enough in my eyes to put a teenager in. They're all good. All 3 rooms are a nice size, and it's a very well laid out home. So 379. Normally these models kind of sell in the 380s, maybe a little bit more. But I don't know if homes on Thompson always take the hit that I feel like they should. Because really, I mean, it is a busier street. There's certain things that you kind of have to compromise on being in that location. So anyhow, it's probably going to get some action. I think for me personally, I probably make a bit more of an adjustment for busy roads and for things like that than what the market normally does. So Hayward Crescent is at 399.9, and so it's a link home. So on one of these 2 homes, it's joined by the foundation, but it looks like a detached home. It's probably joined on this side because it's closer. And so inside's been fully done. They've even knocked the wall out between this dining area and the family, which I think looks terrific. Renovated kitchen. You got some pot drawers here. and the basement's been finished, and just a really nice looking space. No neighbors behind. It looks like there's a school there. Nice stuff. A little bit higher than what these usually sell for. There's a lot of value in this one. Okay, so Jelinek is at 434.9, and it looks to me like the Spirit Plan 3, which is 1382 square feet, and a great looking kitchen. They've got the moldings on top of the cabinets. No hardwood floors, but hardwood staircase. And if it's the model I'm thinking of, we sold one last couple months in the 420 range, and it was a nice listing. It had a little bit more than this one does, I think, in terms of upgrades. At 434, the thing is there's not much for sale, and this model can appear bigger in person, especially on the main level. So you might find that somebody might step up and pay a pretty penny for this model. So Nelson Court is at 449.9, and so it's a side split. It says 4 bedrooms. It's got a bathroom even in the basement there. And so it's a pie-shaped lot, it looks like, and we can see again new fencing, garage door, the furnace has been replaced, the roof shingles, all nice things to consider. So wait for the photos on this one. I do think that this one looks like a good listing. So Old Milton's really bringing the heat. Babcock, this one here is interesting because the outside doesn't look that pretty with the vinyl siding and the blue doors and everything. From my perspective, intrinsic value, 2,200 square feet, 4 bedrooms. It's in a good location that's really close to the GO train, to the Arts Center, all those good things that I talk about on that sort of Main and Thompson strip. And so even if the inside needed some work, I think that you would immediately be gratified by the results. I think if you get this one, even now it seems like a very, very good price. I haven't seen it in person, but that size for that price, definitely pay attention to it. So Duncan Lane, it's on the good part of Duncan. So it's on the north part of the curve. It does not face the train tracks. It's a Heathwood home. And normally when I see a semi for 459, I kind of shudder. I go, wow, who's going to pay for that? This one has a real chance. Number one, because it feels like a detached home. It doesn't feel like a semi when you're inside. 9-foot ceilings, all the rest of it. And it's 2,200 square feet. It's got all the classic features of a Heathwood home in terms of the upgrades. So let's go ahead and have a look at it. So you've got very contemporary style. If you love this, then you are just going to be blown away by this home because it's not easy to do that well. And then you've got your kitchen with your granite countertops and your backsplash and all the rest of it. And nice open concept. Very well done. There's a little office nook, plus you've got the 4 bedrooms upstairs, double sinks, so really smart upgrades on this one. And I think they're going to do really well. If there's a semi that I would bet is going to get over 450, it's going to be that one there. Lancaster 469. It's a Pilgrim model built by Mattamy. Nice little location, easy access to James Snow Parkway. 1,740 square feet plus a finished basement. And there's also a pond behind, so there's a lot of nice features here. Hardwood floors, you've got a living dining on one side, then you have a family in a kitchen. Can be a little tough to put a table, so you usually have to put it right up against the wall. And so it kind of loops around, and you'll see there's a bathroom here, some pot lights. 3 bedrooms upstairs, plus there's a very configurable basement. Very professionally done down there. You've got a good looking bathroom, and then that's what you see from the back bedrooms. And very, very impressive. So I think there's a lot of great features with this home. $469 seems to be a very good price for it. So Clark Boulevard, $524.9. It's a Newgate, and there was the same model that sold down the street. A lot of listings incorrectly list this one over 2,500 square feet, but the original Newgate was actually less than that. And then they had a Glenwood, which was over, it was 2,572. So this one here, kind of in the same range as the other one. It looks like a little bit more landscaping on the other one, and without inside photos, it's very tough to figure out if this one is a good price. Martin Street, 57 by 142 foot lot. Good looking bungalow. Great landscaping here. And a gorgeous kitchen. So definitely off to a start. And I've always believed that your second picture is really the one where you bring the heat, and you can see some hardwood floors, some crown moldings. Really nice. And so what they may have done is maybe blown out between 2 rooms, because the master's a really good size. And a lot of times when the kids leave, we find that people make that decision Well, you know what? We don't need a 3 bedroom. We actually only need 2 bedrooms. So that's one of the things that is going to help or hurt them is only having 2 bedrooms on the main floor. And but the basement is a good size because it's a bungalow. You're getting more finished area in the basement, and then a good sized piece of land. So I won't doubt that there's traffic on Martin Street, but I think that there's a lot of positive features with this home. It's a good looking big bungalow, and and there's no neighbors really behind. Fifth line is at 712.9. And again, big bungalow, about an acre of a lot, and 150 by 291. The recommendation from us is always to take the wallpaper down because the buyers are always thinking, I'm going to have to replace this wallpaper. It definitely dates the home. Nice high ceilings, though. If you have a look at this shot here, that is a bar, ladies and gentlemen, and it's even got one of those little foot rails. That's authentic to me. It looks like there's a little dartboard right here. Really cool stuff. And again, the high ceiling is really going to add something here. You get a pool table. So these guys have a lot of fun in this home, I'm sure. And it's really just a question of really, it's hard to tell the space and the size for this home. It looks like a good sized piece of land, and you're basically Derry to 5th, so it's a good little location. I would definitely watch the development happening around this home before moving forward. But that's like anything you do in the country. It's like anything you do with anything that has any empty land nearby. Forbes Terrace is at 749. And so what I do know is based on the measurements, it's less than 3,000 square feet. And so you can find 3,000 square foot homes in the low sixes. So what would make someone pay over 100,000 more? You're not seeing it. Like, I mean, I just don't see in the photos, and part of it because they're stretched and they're a little dark, and you can see there's wainscoting here. You can see that there's almost like a river stone or something on the cabinets. But I think that it's just hard to kind of read this listing. Wainscoting in the master, and a tiki bar in the back. So there you go. It would require probably an in-person visit. I'm guessing this one would show better in person, but for things like wainscoting, crown molding, not as much of a return as like good floors, like classic paint. All those kind of things will really, really help you out. I've talked about this before. The 4 biggest renos in a house is a kitchen reno, bathroom reno, flooring, and paint. Those are the best things to do in the home, and beyond there, your returns start to get lower and lower. So 749, I don't doubt it's nice. I think there's been some good sales. There's one on Quinlan that was up in this range, backing onto green space that just had an offer. I don't know. That one's a tough one to figure out. So 10 Side Road is 775, 20 acres. It's very nice. Okay, so Guelph and 10th, so it's pretty quick to get on the highway. And so good piece of property. Inside looks good as well. The kitchen's been renovated, and you've got these neat features, these little cutouts beside the fireplace, the exposed beams. I mean, it says cottage, right? I mean, it's very authentic. And then you also have outbuildings. You've got a heated workshop, which is I think it's 38 by 50. That's fantastic. So you could probably fit 4 or 5 cars in there. And then you've got some outbuildings there. So it looks like the classic well there. 775. I mean, really, you couldn't replace this home plus the other buildings. There's 2 paddocks here. You just couldn't replace it for the money they're asking. So in that sense, I think it's good value, and I think there's a lot going on with this that would certainly, for the right buyer, be very attractive. Amos is at 949.9, and so you're on a 212 by 300 foot lot. So I think that's about an acre and a half if I do the math right in my head. The blue carpet definitely is a second shot. I mean, it sort of takes you aback. I can't say that a lot of my clients would be fans of blue carpet. You've got some hardwood there too. Yeah, I mean, the kitchen, granite countertops. I don't know. Presented like this listing, the way it's presented, I've seen what appears to be better value in this neighborhood selling in the last 6 months, let's say, listed for less than $949. So, but really not seeing it in person, it's very hard to tell. It looks like a big listing, but it also looks like, I mean, if you get someone in the mode where they're seeing it online and they say, I'm going to have to do some work, you've immediately decreased your chances of any next step because your first showing is online and your second showing is in person. That's a very important thing about selling a home in 2012. 20th Side Road is the last listing. It's at $1,295. It's 100 acres, and you've got a home with between 15 and 2,000 square feet, 1,500 to 2,000. Looks like it has some stuff. It's electric baseboard, plank hardwood. Really, I think with this one, probably 80% or more of the value on this one is really the land, and so with almost 100 acres, there's certainly intrinsic value with this, even if you did something with the home. So that's the list for today. Hope you enjoyed it. And again, it's my second time doing this because the microphone is a little off. So I hope I caught every detail I did the first time. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow with more Milton Daily Homes. And thanks again for tuning in.